Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. I hope you're all keeping fine. Okay. And what about the previous lesson? Did you read the textbook? Are you thorough with that part that we have learned on Monday? Let me ask a question. When Lancelot was talking to Bassanio, okay, he tells a proverb. What is that proverb? I told you to write in the textbook. It tells a proverb. What is that proverb? The proverb is the grace of God is better than gear. That is, the grace of God is better than all possessions. And he tells that the old proverb is very well parted between my master Shylock and you, sir. So, and how is the proverb applicable to both Shylock and Bassanio? Can you explain that? How you will explain? Okay. So the old proverb that Lancelot explains here is the grace of God is better than gear. Gear means worldly possessions. He says that this proverb is equally applicable to Shylock and Bassanio. Bassanio is a good man and he has the grace of God. Shylock does not have grace of God, but he has enough wealth. Okay, so this is the proverb that he says is applicable to both the masters, Shylock as well as Bassanio. Okay, and then coming towards the last, that is, Bassanio gives some instruction to Leonardo. Okay, and what was that instruction? So Bassanio tells Leonardo that the things that or they have ordered for should be packed properly, and then he has to return quickly. Okay, because what is the reason? Because Bassanio is giving a dinner that night for his most valued friends. This is what Bassanio tells Leonardo, and Leonardo uh, promises that he will do his best in this matter. Okay, so up to that we have completed, and see the next part. Enter Gratian. So Leonardo and Bassanio, they part and walk in opposite directions. Leonardo meets Gratian. Gratiano, where's your master? So Gratiano asks Leonardo, where's Bassanio, or where Bassanio is? Leonardo, yonder, sir, he walks. So he says, see there he walks. He points out to the direction where Bassanio was walking, and he says, yonder. Yonder means there. Sir, he walks. Exit. And so he goes from the stage, and then Gratiano. Signa Bassanio. So Bassanio answers is Gratiano. Gratiano, I have a suit to you. So Gratiano tells Bassanio that he has a request. Suit here means request. He has a request to Bassanio. Bassanio, you have obtained it. So immediately, Bassanio assures Gratiano that, oh, your request is granted. That means he has accepted and he has granted his request. Gratiano, you must not deny me. I must go with you to Belmont. Now he tells what his request is. So what is Gratiano's request? You must not deny me. Okay. So first he tells that he should not refuse his request. Then only he tells what his request is. So Gratiano tells Bassanio what his request is. What is his request? I must go with you to Belmont. Okay, so this is the request. Gratiano requests Bassanio to take him also to Belmont with Bassanio. You must not deny me. So before uh, telling the request, he asked Bassanio not to deny him his request. So this is the request. Now, Bassanio, why? Then you must. Okay, so Bassanio is willing to take him. He says, okay, you can come with me, or you can come. But hear thee, Gratiano, thou art too wild, too rude, and bold of voice, parts that become thee happily enough in and in such eyes as ours appear not false. Okay, now Bassanio gives some advice to Bassanio. Okay, so as far as his behavior is concerned, okay, among his friends it is okay, but when he is going to a place where he is not known, people will misunderstand. So that's why. Okay, so he tells that, but here the Antonio, so you are too, thou means you are too wild, too rude and bold of voice. So whenever Gratiano speaks, he talks unruly and in a rough manner, wild manner. The word too wild, too rude, okay, rough in manner, and then bold of voice, loud voice. He talks in a loud voice. Then parts that become the happily enough. Okay, so these qualities, parts here means qualities. So these qualities, okay, are become the happily enough in such eyes as ours appear not false. So these qualities are okay when he is with his friends. That means Bassanio and other friends. So these qualities do not seem to be fault with his friends. Parts that become the happily enough and in such eyes as ours appear not false. That means among friends like Bassanio and others, these qualities do not seem like fault. I hope you understood. Okay, and then, but where the what not known, but where the what not known, why there they show something too liberal. Okay, so he tells that, but when he goes to a place where he is known by other people, there what happens if he behaves like this? Okay, that is, uh, people will misunderstand. Okay, so something too liberal. So if he behaves like this, okay, and something too liberal, that means very bold and free. Okay, pray thee take pain. to ally with some cold drops of modesty. So this is what Bassanio requests Graciano to do, to ally with some cold drops of modesty, thy skipping spirit. So yes, so he asked, Bassanio asked Graciano to tone down his lively spirit, to tone down his lively spirit by exercising a little moderation. So he has to be modest in his behavior. Okay, so to ally, so some hard words are there. So the meaning, to ally with some cold drops of modesty thy skipping spirit. Okay, so that means you can write down in the textbook itself, to tone down your lively spirits by exercising a little moderation. So he has to be moderate in his behavior. Okay, otherwise it will be misunderstood by others. So the fault of his are acceptable with Bassanio and or acceptable to Bassanio and his friends, as because they think, oh, this is his nature, he's not a bad person, but this is his nature. So his friends know that. Okay, so that's why Bassanio advises Graciano to tone down his lively spirits by exercising a little moderation, to ally with some cold drops of modesty thy skipping spirit, lest through thy wild behavior I be misconstrued in the place I go to, and I lose my hopes. So, what happens if he behaves like this, and what is the consequence? Okay, lest through thy wild behavior. So, through the wild behavior, or if he does not tone down his wild behavior, what happens? He will be, that is, Bassanio will be, okay, misconstrued. I be misconstrued. That means I'll be misunderstood in the place I go to. Where is he going? Yes, is going to Belmont, and I be misconstrued. Bassanio will be misunderstood in the place where he is going to, and lose my hopes. And what is his hope? Here it is said that, and he may lose his hope. And what is Bassanio's hope? Yes, you know that. Okay, Bassanio's hope is to woo Portia and marry her. So that is his hope. So if Graciano behaves like this, sometimes they will be, or Bassanio will be misunderstood, and he may lose his hope, and or his hopes will be shattered. That means his hopes will not be fulfilled. Okay, I hope you understood. Gratian, Signa Bassanio, hear me. So he is going to assure, okay, uh, Gratiano is assuring Bassanio that he will behave properly and in a serious manner. Okay, so Gratiano says, Signor Antonio, hear me, please listen to me. If I do not put on a sober habit, talk with respect and swear but now and then. So he tells that, see, Signor Bassanio, Sir Bassanio, you just listen to me. I would. So he says that he will, if I do not. So he tells that he will put on a serious manner. Okay, that means he will, what he will do, he will put on a serious manner. Okay, sober habit, talk with respect. So he is going to talk with respect. Okay, so that means seriously, with great politeness. So he will talk respectfully or politely, and swear but now and then. occasionally, that means now and then, he will swear, take oaths, okay, swear, and then wear prayer books in my pocket. Then he tells him that he will have a prayer book in his pocket, like a serious minded person. And then look demurely. Again, he says that he looks very quiet and serious. Demurely, nay, more. Not only that, then what? While grace is saying means while the prayer is going on, hold mine eyes thus with my hat and sigh and say amen. Okay, so there will be prayer before the food. Okay, so when prayer of thanks is going on, he will cover his eyes with his hat. The hood mine eyes thus with my hat. He says that he is going to um, cover his eyes with a hat, and then and sigh and say amen. And then, like a serious person, like a religious person, he will say amen when the prayer is over. Use all the observance of civility. And then he says that he will use all the manners that a polite person in a society should do. He will uh, behave politely, showing all the good manners, use all the observance of civility, like one well studied in a sad Austin, to please his grand dame. Never trust me more. So he says that. So he will behave very carefully, and then last, like one well studied. Okay, like a person. Okay, he is going to show quietness and seriousness, just like a boy who wants to or behave very good or in a polite way to his grandmother. Okay, so he says that he is going to uh, act or behave very politely and with the quietness of spirit, just like a boy in front of his grandmother. Okay, then to please his granddam, that means grandmother. Never trust me anymore. So he says, trust him. That means these are the things that Graciano told Bassanio. So Graciano assures Bassanio that he will behave properly, put on a serious manner, and behave properly like a well-mannered person. Okay, when he goes to Belmont with Bassanio. Bassanio, well, we shall see your bearing. So he says that, okay, we'll see. We'll see your behavior. Then Graciano, nay, but bar tonight. But Graciano requests Bassanio, but nay, but not tonight. See, tonight should be an exception. That's what Graciano tells. Okay, you shall not gouge me by what we do tonight. That means tonight should be an exception. He should not. That means Bassanio should not judge him by what he do that night. You know what is going to happen that night? That night, okay, Bassanio is going to give a big dinner party to his well-esteemed friends. So Graciano requests Bassanio not to judge him by his behavior that night, because he wants to have fun and enjoyment that night. Okay, so Bassanio replies, no, that were pity. So Bassanio accepts that. But Bassanio said, yeah, no, that, okay, if if he does like that, it would be a pity. It would be a pity to do like that. I would entreat you rather to put on your boldest suit of mirth. So he tells that, or Bassanio tells him that he would rather ask him to assume his merriest mood. That means uh, uh, Graciano should be in a happy and merriest mood, so that what his friends also will be very happy. See, when his friends come for this dinner party, if everyone sits very seriously and sober minded, how it will be. So he says that the Graciano should be in the merriest mood during the dinner party. For we have friends that purpose merriment, because we have friends. Our friends are coming here for fun and merriment, for enjoyment. But very well, I have some business. So he says, okay, he bids goodbye. Bassanio bids goodbye to Graciano and says that he has some important business to do. Graciano, and I must to Lorenzo and the rest, but we will visit you at supper time. So Graciano says that he has to go to Lorenzo and others. Okay, and so he promises to meet him at the supper time. That is when they have the dinner. Okay. I hope children you understood. Let me ask a few questions from the passage that we learned today. Okay. So, what are the advices? Okay, or briefly uh, summarize the advice given by Bassanio to Gracia. So Bassanio tells Graciano that uh, he is very wild, rude, and loud in voice. Okay, so these faults of his are acceptable to Bassanio and his friends as qualities of his nature. But his wild behavior may be misunderstood in Belmont. Hence, Bassanio advised him to control his wild behavior and tone down his lively spirits by exercising moderation. So, this is the advice that Bassanio gives to Gracia. So, why does Bassanio ask this? Okay, why does Bassanio ask Graciano to do like this? Bassanio asked Graciano to behave properly in Belmont because he fears that the people who do not know Graciano and his behavior, uh, okay, and his nature, his behavior will appear as faulty, and his wild behavior will be misunderstood at Belmont, and Bassanio may lose all chances of marrying Portia. This is what Bassanio is afraid of. Okay. Now, what assurance does Graciano give to Bassanio? Or what does Graciano assure Bassanio? In any way, it can be asked. What does Graciano assure Bassanio? Or what assurance does Graciano give to Bassanio? Okay, think of that question. Please try to answer. Graciano, what does he promise? Graciano promises or assures to behave in a proper manner. He says that he will converse gravely and will seldom use oaths or swear oath. He will carry a prayer book in his pocket and look very serious. And during the meals, when the prayer is being said, he will cover his eyes with his hat and very seriously say amen. Okay, and then he also says that he will do everything that politeness demands, and follow all the customs and good manners, as though he is trying to please his grandmother by showing quiet and serious behavior. Okay, so this is what Graciano promises Bassanio. Okay, then what exception to Graciano's behavior is accepted for the particular night, and why? Bassanio tells Graciano that his rude behavior will be tolerated for that particular night because of the party, because of the dinner party. This is because Bassanio wants that night to be one of fun and mirth, and he will be sorry to see Graciano in a sad mood. Bassanio would prefer to see him in the wildest spirit and be in his most amusing mood. Okay, this is what Bassanio wants Graciano for to be in that particular night. Okay, because Bassanio is giving a dinner party to his well-esteemed friends. Okay, children, I hope you understood. Please read the lesson, read the passage, and the right side, the meaning. So surely you will understand. It's a simple one. There's no plot development, only the conversation with between Bassanio and Graciano. Okay, so the advice of Bassanio to Graciano when he reaches Belmont. Okay, so bye till we meet in the next class.